Hello guys and welcome to the Sport and Faith seminar at Cliffest 2021. It is great to be with you and it's great to see you over a screen. Sorry that we can't be with you in person on the cliff field in the glorious sun on the bank holiday weekend, but it is great to be with you, and we're going to be thinking in this seminar a bit about sport and faith. And we're going to be looking at three things. The fact that sport was made to be enjoyed. We're going to be thinking a little bit about how we can share our faith with our friends through sport. The fact that sport is like a doorway to evangelism. And then we're also going to think about how we can encounter God through sport. But first of all, before we do any of that, I want you to think for a moment about what is your favourite sporting memory. This might be a memory from your own sporting career, or this might be a favourite moment from the professional team that you support. It'd be great for you guys to think that through the next minute. Once I pause this video, I want you to go and get a piece of paper. You can either draw that sporting moment or you could write it down. But think for a moment, what is your favourite sporting moment? There's a link, a YouTube link that should be attached to this video, which should inspire you, because on there is a ton of incredible sporting moments from the history of sport. So go away, 1 minute, have a think. What is your favourite sporting memory? Welcome back, guys. Hopefully that's given you enough time to think about your favourite sporting moment. If we were in person right now, I'd be getting some of you to come up to the front and share what that is. As it is, obviously we can't do that, but I am going to share my favourite sporting moment. I forgot to introduce myself at the start. My name is James, and my favourite sport, I think, is football, just about, and I am a big Nottingham Forest fan. I grew up in Nottingham, and so my favourite sporting moment comes from a football pitch in Nottingham. I was playing for my local team, and in this particular match, it was 1-1, and it was coming to the last 5 minutes of the game. A teammate of mine on the right wing whipped a ball in, and it missed the defenders, it missed the goalkeeper, and who was there at the back post? It was me. All I had to do was to put my foot in front of the ball, and the ball would have gone into the net. But what unfortunately happened was I got so underneath the ball that it missed the goal, it missed the bar, and it ended up in someone's garden. I couldn't believe it. This was the one chance we had to win this game, and I had missed it. But it wasn't over, because the referee signalled an additional time added on at the end of the match. And the same thing happened. The ball came in from the right. The defenders this time got a touch on it, but it was bobbling around the area. And then it came to me a couple of yards out. This time I made no mistake, and I put the ball straight in the bottom corner. And I remember wheeling away in delight. I didn't know what to do, so I just fell to the ground, and my teammates came and basically sat on top of me so that I could hardly breathe. But I remember in that moment that amazing feeling of complete joy. And I think it was made all the better by the fact that I actually missed the opportunity moments before. That was just an amazing moment of mine. When I think about sport, I think back to how I felt in that moment, scoring that goal to win the match for my team. So sport for me is enjoyable because I can test myself. I can test myself if I'm in an individual sport. I can test myself against my previous time. I remember when I was growing up through school, I loved doing the 100-metre sprint, and every year I tried to shave a couple of milliseconds off that time. If I'm playing in a team sport, I can test myself against opposition. It feels good when I participate in sport. It's great being part of a team together. I don't know whether any of you guys are part of a team, and it just feels great to have teammates that then become friends. I know that my body also likes sport. It's good for our physical health. I know that when I play sport, it's good for my heart. I can feel my heart having to work, and that's a good thing. It's a form of exercise for us. There's that feeling also you get, isn't there, when you're playing sport, maybe that adrenaline rush, or they sometimes call it that release of endorphins, which is a chemical in your brain that makes our bodies, it feels good for us. There's that rush that we get. So sport is something to be enjoyed. The second thing I want to think about is the fact that sport is a door to evangelism. It's basically this amazing platform that we get as sportsmen and sportswomen to share our faith with our friends, because we can be distinct in sport. We can be different through the words we choose to use and through the actions we choose to have. And that's amazing, because if I want to share Jesus with someone, if I could share Jesus with the people in your team, but I don't think it would mean as much as you sharing your faith with them, because you have spent that time building relationship and building trust with them. And so you are the best placed person to share your faith with your friends, with your teammates, because you have been given that unique doorway, if you like, that unique platform into their lives. And I just think that's amazing, because sport is a means of building relationships. Relationships build quick in sport because trust has to build quick. If you're a defensive pair in a football match, you can't choose to not trust that other person. If you're a winger in a football match and you've got a friend as a striker, they're trusting you to provide the service, provide the right ball for them at the right time. And so trust builds in sports teams. And through that, you have the opportunity to share your faith through your actions and through your words. I'm just going to share a time in my life when I actually didn't choose to kind of stand up for what I believed to be right. It was in a tennis tournament for school, and we had got to the final, and I was with my doubles partner, and we were playing this other school, and they hit this ace, a bit like the one that I was talking about at the start. It was one of those ones that went so quick, and it landed just on the line, and on the line in tennis is in. And my friend who was receiving the serve said that was out, and he said it quite abruptly, and I saw it and I thought that was definitely in. That was an incredible serve. But in tennis, the receiving, obviously there wasn't an umpire. We were just kind of self refereeing our match, and so the receiver of the serve gets to say whether it's in or out, and our guy said it wasn't in. And I in that moment had a choice to make, whether I could say, actually no, that was in, but I kind of remained quiet. And I often think back to that moment when I could have had an opportunity to be honest, and my faith could have been seen through that honesty. Because I think the easier thing to do often is go with the crowd, and I kind of went with the crowd, if you like, that day. And I think I just want to challenge you guys to think about what opportunities have you guys got in your sporting clubs, in your teams, to be able to show and share Jesus with your teammates. Maybe it's just something as simple as when a ball does land in, calling it as in, even if your teammate chooses to say it's out, even when you know 100% it was in. Maybe in football, if the ball goes off you for a throw-in and the referee gives it to the opposition, it's you saying, holding your hands up and saying, actually, no, that went off me. And I don't think we also have to be really structured in the way that we share Jesus with our friends. I don't think we need to kind of, think about this specific time that we're going to choose to drop the Jesus word in there. But just through being intentional and through building relationships and through your friends seeing the way that you act, that will provoke questions, that will provoke thoughts in other people's minds of why is that person acting differently? And I really believe that when we choose to be like Jesus, that's a really, really attractive thing that the world wants that, and the world can't help but notice that as well. And so from that, you can, it requires that little second of courage just to share maybe something about what you've been doing that weekend that's church related, or maybe it's inviting your friend maybe to a church event that's happening and having no shame about that. But there's numerous opportunities that you have as sportsmen and sportswomen in your teams to be able to share and show Jesus through the way that you speak, through the way that you act on the court or on the pitch. And so I want to challenge you next time you're in that position where you've got an opportunity to stand up for what's right. I pray that you would have the courage to do that. And also I pray that you might be able to conjure up those little opportunities to be able to share Jesus. I just want to really quickly share this great verse from the book of Colossians in the Bible, which I believe we can learn something from, as it says, "Let the message about Christ, in all its richness, fill your lives. Teach and counsel each other with all the wisdom he gives. Sing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs to God with thankful hearts, and whatever you do or say, do it as a representative of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks through him to God the Father." As we finish, I just want to point you in the direction of a few resources that you may find helpful. I know I've certainly found them helpful. One is an Instagram page called Ballers in God, which is run by footballers who are Christians in their professional clubs. And they've got great material on there, some videos, they post fairly regularly. And sometimes it's just a thought across the front of the post. Other times they do live stories, and it's really easy to connect with, and great to see professional athletes connecting with their faith and the wider world. And the second one is that there's a YouTube channel just been created by a footballer called John Bostock, and it's called More Than Players, and it's all about his journey through sport and how he mixes that with faith. And they're really accessible, really easy to watch, and so I'd really encourage you to go and have a look at that page, More Than Players. And then the other YouTube channel, which I've only just known about recently, is Mr. Sport. He is a YouTuber again, and provides a Christian outlook on sporting things, and so he's worth going to check out as well. So that's More Than a Player with John Bostock, Mr. Sport, and also the Ballers in God Instagram page. So there's plenty more out there, but there are a few that I've come across recently. So go and check those out. And yeah, it's been great, guys, to chat today. It's been great to think about how we need to enjoy sport and how sport was made to be enjoyed. It's great to think as well about how sport is a great doorway to evangelism and sharing faith with our friends. And it's also cool to know that we can encounter God through sport. So yeah, hope you have a great rest of the day, and thank you for coming to this seminar. Cheers, bye.